What is up, guys and gals? Welcome to episode number 139 of the Nonsense Review. I'm your host, as always, Devon, and joining me equally as always is Rick.
Hello.
Today we are doing our last spooky themed episode of the year, but it's also the month.
We're not precluding something spooky coming out in like December or something.
I'll correct myself. This is going to be the last time you have not our actual theme playing at the beginning of the episode. Rick, today we're doing something fun. We're doing another spooky animation, but we'll get to that a bit later. If you clicked on the video, you probably already know what it is. But before that, those of you who are fans of the podcast probably already know, but for those of you who are new, we like to talk about our weeks and the goings-on in the wide universe before we get to it. So with that in mind, Rick, how's your week been, buddy?
Big Mouth Season 7 came out, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through it. I know you're not super caught up on it, but I will say the one thing that is good about it, that is, I'd say, already better than last season, is Jay gets a bone thrown. He has a new passion, and so far it's only essentially shown up in one episode, but it's become basically his motivation for the season, and that's good for the character, and therefore good for the show, and instantly makes it a better season than the last one, which was such a nothing show.
That's fair. I was wondering why the fuck it came up on my recommends again.
Yeah, so the reason it comes off my mind is because I just watch it. I treat it as a pajama day thing. I'm fortunate enough to be able to have the equivalent of pajama days where I can just watch a show in a day. To wit, I'd not started watching this before like yesterday. And yeah, so other things out in the world, the MTG draft and set boosters are coming to an end. From 2024, we're going to have play boosters. It appears to be fewer cards for more money. Developers say it'll be about the same power in a pack per dollar, which basically means nothing.
This is a weird direction to go. But that being said, I've always thought splitting it into two sets of boosters was silly, apart from the fact that obviously draft boosters are used if you play the draft format because they're bigger packs and they make you actually able to do that. But yeah, if you're not doing that, the draft boosters are kind of does that mean draft's going away?
So you're basically going to have to play around a draft in a different way. So maybe buy one more booster per table.
Oh, yeah, cool. This probably isn't even a Wizards decision. It's the fucking... Oh, who owns them?
Hasbro, yeah.
It's because Hasbro's bollocking every single fucking franchise they have, so therefore the nerds suffer because the nerd shit's actually profitable.
Yeah. Like Wizards in particular are running away with things, or they were, with D&D being popular until the OGL fiasco, and that's when they started hemorrhaging. And now that they're hemorrhaging, they have to tighten their grip on every other franchise that Wizards own. Yeah. Which is basically just D&D. Well, not D&D, Magic the Gathering.
But the crossover potential with Magic the Gathering, you can see, like, they recently had Lord of the Rings. I think the most recent one was Doctor Who. And I don't give a fuck about Doctor Who, but fuck me, some of the cards are really nice. Like, just artistically.
Like, the Doctor Who ones have actually got the actors' likenesses being licensed. So they actually show up looking like David Tennant and what have you. Similarly, the Jurassic World ones that are coming out, they've got the Jurassic Park actors. So you got, like, an MTG card of Jeff Goldblum. It's going to be slamming down on tables. So it remains to be seen what's actually going to happen with it, but it's kind of okay that they're condensing down to one thing, but what I really want to see is them getting rid of the ad card. They took up one entire card's worth of card space in the entire in the boosters with just an ad for Magic the Gathering, i.e. the product that you had already bought. Like, it wasn't even an ad for D&D or an ad for like Transformers or My Little Pony or something else that Hasbro owns. It was just stupid. Or even like a rules primer card, or even a token, which is another thing they used to fill it out.
They still do.
Like, yeah. Like, people like tokens. It would be fine to have another token or a land, but no, the ad card. Man, I'm annoyed.
But isn't the... sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, because like the last time I picked up a booster pack of Magic the Gathering, the ad card wasn't an ad card for Magic, it was an ad card for, do you like playing Magic? Do you want to do it online?
I guess so, yeah. Like MTG Online and Friday Night Magic, I guess, were the two products that they run that are not just the cards. The King Kong game, I think you've talked about this a little bit, but the game itself looks like a shitpost, including, like, in one of the cutscenes, it just looks like a still JPEG of the dinosaur that King Kong is fighting against.
I haven't spoken about this, however, this did come up on my radar and it depressed me because I've not looked into this game because everyone has said the same thing, and that is, oh, it's the Gollum game but King Kong.
Yeah, it's racing the Golem game, along with two other ones, Forspoken and Redfall, to be the worst game of 2023. They're all on the 30s on Metacritic. I think King Kong is currently higher rated than Golem, but not by much. I think Redfall is currently the one with the lowest rating, and that's possibly because it was from a bigger developer.
Well, I'm not a King Kong fan. I'm a Godzilla and proper kaiju fan.
Yep.
Well, because everyone seems to forget that King Kong has to be scaled up to fight Godzilla.
Yeah, because he's only, 50 feet tall and not, 800?
I feel bad for fans of King Kong.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't deserve this.
It's also being compared unfavorably to the movie tie-in shovelware game of the shovel movie Peter Jackson did in the late 2000s.
Yeah, it's really funny because that game, while if you look at it now, you'd probably say, oh, that doesn't look great, but that's because it was on the PS3. It looked good for the time, and it was faithful to the source material, which was Peter Jackson's movie.
Yeah. I think it was even the PS2.
I think it was PS3, but I won't argue the point because I don't know.
Yeah. During this week, both Mario and Sonic brought out new 2D games, which is something that I wouldn't have assumed would ever be happening in, a post-1997 Super Mario 64 world. Mario Wonder and Sonic Superstars, they both seem to be being relatively well received by the fans. I have bought neither, which is weird considering I'm such a big Sonic simp.
Yeah, indeed. My big game for this month I'll reveal during my week, but if I didn't have another big game, I would have probably gone in on Mario. I love 2D Mario. I don't love 3D Mario.
I feel you. Mario is one of those weird ones, 3D Mario in particular is something that I'm sure I would enjoy, but I've never bought one, so I don't want to go in on one and just, pay full price, because it will be full price, and not have an amazing time.
It's one of those weird ones, because my first 3D Mario game was Super Mario 64. Now, Rick, you might be wondering, because you're like, hang on, Devon never owned a Nintendo 64, because I bought it on the DS.
Yes.
And the camera does not work very well.
No.
I understand why it was the first time they were doing it, but it felt awful, and that kind of soured me on 3D Mario games.
I think it's also the last time they tried to shovel a full-on N64 game onto the DS. Next time they did that was Star Fox 3D,
Fair enough.
which is on the 3DS, and it was basically just the game run on the 3DS, but with a second camera worth of point of view to make a 3D perspective. And that worked pretty well, because the 3DS could just run N64 games, no problem. So yeah, I also saw that Mario 64 was on the DS, and even then I didn't pick it up, because again, it was full price. It was easy enough to find things that were cheap on the DS later on. My last one is a little bit of a spoiler for Baldur's Gate 3. This has been discovered by people doing silly things, as people are wont to do within the game. Turns out the Goddess Shar is an anti-masker. If you try and complete Shadowheart's destiny while under the effects of Disguise Self, it doesn't count as being completed for Shadowheart. And you still get the downside of sacrificing the lady, and the world turns to shit anyway, and you still get no benefit from it.
I didn't think this is what you meant when you said there was going to be a spoiler thing, because I also saw this and I went, oh, that's weird, and then moved on with my life.
I just found it really amusing. That's it for things that I've seen in the wide world. How about you? How's your week been?
I've done a few things this week. That tends to happen when I don't have work.
Yeah.
So first things first, the big game that I bought this month was obviously Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
That game's fun.
Seeing that it's actually had a reasonably decent graphical upgrade for the most part. Some things look better now, and some things don't look quite as good. Like the bins, apparently, don't look quite as good anymore.
Rick, I don't look at the fucking bins. I appreciate there's some people out there that will go through this game with a fine-tooth comb because they're like that. I don't care. I'm Spider-Man. I'm swinging through the air. Plus, I can kind of fly now.
Yeah. The rats have had a real graphical upgrade, and apparently that's because you can just be a spider drone and be at rat level.
There's a jump scare in the third mission where you have to use the spider drone specifically with a rat jumping at you. And that's not what makes you jump. The thing that made me jump is Peter Parker on the headset going, ah! And that made me go, ah, what the fuck, what's going on? It's just a fucking rat, bro. I was relatively blind going into this game, and I think that's to the game's credit, in that I think if you knew who the big villain was going in, I mean, apart from the obvious villain that's going to be later on, which I've not encountered really yet, but yeah, I didn't know Kraven was such a big fucking deal in this game.
No.
From what I've been able to glean, I'm not sure if this is 100% the way yet, but Kraven is taking chemotherapy drugs, which means he is dying.
Right, okay.
And his big deal is he wants to go out in the biggest hunt he possibly can, which means he's been capturing supervillains specifically to hunt. And so far, spoiler spoilers for the game, Rick, and or people listening. So far, he has killed both Matt Gargan, the Scorpion, and the Vulture.
Okay. So we're not going to get a Matt Gargan variant Venom.
No. I think that might be one of the reasons why Matt Gargan was picked to be offed, because they didn't want to give people hope.
In my opinion, he was a shit Venom. And it really annoyed me when we got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, and the Venom that we got was Matt Gargan.
He was a shit Venom in the comics. However, this version of Matt Gargan, the Scorpion, or shit, even the version we got in the live-action films, if that guy gets the fucking symbiote, I would be scared.
Oh, yes. Even when he had it in the comics, he wasn't, like, actually actively a cannibal. Like, worse than Carnage with it.
No, he wasn't. No one's worse than Carnage.
Okay.
But it's one of those. But yeah, I can't believe they got... The first villain you fight is the Sandman as well.
Yeah.
And that's always cool.
Yeah. Like, basically, the Sandman is good at bringing kaiju fights to a street-level hero.
Fuck me, you're not even wrong, because, like, of course he instantly goes giant, and he's a giant sand tornado.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm about halfway through the story. This game feels incredibly short, but I don't...
Okay.
I don't care. It's action-packed.
Fair enough.
One thing I will say that had me freaking out, which I've not been able to gush about yet, is there are several heroes in the city at the same time. There's you, there's the other Spider-Man, there's Rafe, there's later on you get a certain person. Well, fuck it, I'll just say it. You get Harry Osborn.
Okay.
And sometimes, and this happened to me on my first fucking random incident, so I don't know if it's scripted to be that way or if I just got lucky, but sometimes you'll head to one of the random encounters and one of the other heroes is already fighting it.
Okay. That's actually kind of cute.
It was so cool, because the first time it happened to me, I landed down and I was like, yeah, let's beat up some thugs. And then I just had Miles talking to me, going, oh, hey, Pete. And it's like, oh, cool. This is really cool. And also, you get unique cooperative takedowns when you have someone fighting with you. So it's even cooler.
Oh, man, you got me smiling.
It's really fun. I've loved every minute. I haven't even mentioned the side content stuff, but I'll leave that for people who actually want to play the game, because every single side content story has had a really satisfying ending so far.
Yeah, I guess I'll wait like 8 months for it to be on PC and then see how it goes.
Talk about 2 years.
Okay, minimum 8 months. Yeah, 8 months I think is normally for the FFs, and those are the ones that Sony don't own.
Yeah, if it's a Sony exclusive, it takes a couple of years.
Yeah, shame. Oh well.
Fuck, I think God of War took 4 years.
Yeah, like God of War came out around the same time as the sequel was coming out on the actual PlayStation.
Yeah. Speaking of video games, I also finished Final Fantasy 16.
Okay. Man, I thought you'd done that a while ago, but yeah.
I've specifically not spoken about it because I didn't want to bring it up until I'd actually properly finished it. And, yeah, the ending is a bit of a wet fart, if I'm honest.
Okay. Is it a wait for the DLC kind of ending?
No, it ends. It definitely ends.
Okay.
It's just not satisfying, really.
So better than 15, but not by much.
I wouldn't know. I didn't play 15.
Okay. Yeah, apparently the ending of 15 was such a wet fart that it was basically a big old sign saying, yeah, the DLC is going to finish the story.
Well, it's one of those where I think the ending was fine, but then they followed it up with a post-credit scene, and that was just like, why even include this? This actively makes the previous moment shitter.
Yes.
That being said, the final boss fight was cool. I think it's impossible to fuck that fight up. It's sort of that difficulty setting. But yeah, the final fight has yourself, another character, Ifrit, Phoenix, and Bahamut all team up, and you do a mega fuck-off Delta summon like the Major Sisters, and it's the coolest moment in the fucking game.
Yeah.
One thing I will say that this game has sort of suffered from throughout is a lot of the boss fights kind of dragged, in that you'd think the boss fight is over because you beat a health bar, and then you're like, oh, okay, second phase, let's do this. And then you get a third phase, and the third phase is usually like, why are we doing this again? Yeah,
like when the third phase is just an endurance lap, it's not even difficult, it's just endurance at that point.
It's not even endurance though, it's just dull.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that way about inflated health pools for a long time, when things are just long to be long.
It depends. It depends if the inflated health pool is because the enemy is meant to be such a problem that yes, you will have to fight this thing for a long time. Or if the inflated health pool is there because, oh, you've put the difficulty up and we can't make this fight more difficult, we're just going to make the number bigger.
Yeah, we make it longer. My favourite kind of doing it is when they have a very obvious weakness and you've been able to prepare for it, and you can deal with that health pool by playing well and feel good about it.
Rick, I finally watched the Mortal Kombat movie from 2021.
Did you? Okay.
It's on Netflix, so that's why I watched it. It's a good film. I think it's pretty good. They made some weird decisions about how they wanted the story to work, but I don't care. It felt like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, because like the only Mortal Kombat movie I've seen is the original one, and that was a long time ago during my formative years.
That film's not good, but I like it.
No.
Kano, he was by far the most entertaining part of this film.
Sweet.
Don't get me wrong, colossal dickhead, as Kano is wont to be, but very entertaining dickhead. And yeah, we start the film with Hanzo and Bihan, Sub-Zero and Scorpion, back when they were just dudes, having their little duel, and we end the film with Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, and boy was it fucking satisfying.
Sweet.
We end the film on a tease where our main character, by the way, is a descendant of Scorpion. I'm not the biggest fan of that idea, but it worked for the sake of a movie. It's just him going off, and it's like, where are you going? He's going, and he just goes, I'm going to Hollywood, and I'm like, and it just cuts to a fucking movie poster for a Johnny Cage movie, and I'm like, oh yes, I want to see a Mortal Kombat 2 right now.
Man, it's a good feeling, isn't it, when they tease the fact that there might be a sequel, and you just want to see it immediately.
Absolutely. Plus, they need Johnny Cage with Kano. Kano dies in the movie, by the way, so we're not getting him back. Unless we do.
Okay.
Because it's still Mortal Kombat and people can just die and then be back without anything being wrong with them.
Especially since what you said about the end of MK11 or MK12, whatever it is, with going into MK1, it being a weird reboot where everything is now canon. From every ending is canon.
Well, yeah, because the more relevant thing is at the end of MK9, I shit you not, about 9/10 of the cast is dead.
Yes.
So MK10 has got entirely new characters, and the returning characters are the few survivors. We've got some Borutos, and we've got a bunch of characters that are allowed to be played as because they're revenants, which means they're still dead, but people want to play as Liu Kang. What can we say?
Yeah, they're revenants / mecha freezers.
Entirely revenants, but yeah, I get you, I guess. Rick, I also started a new show on Netflix.
Did you? What'd you start?
It's something we teased about or considered doing for the podcast, but it's been out for a fucking year now, so it's not happening. I've watched about 6 episodes of The Sandman.
Okay.
That show's fucking good.
Sweet. I might now have to watch it, and then we might do a retro on it.
I mean, a new season is coming, because Netflix is doing that thing they do where they put in big old writing, a new season is coming.
Yeah, and that's how it gets promoted to the front of your list, yeah.
It might be a 10-episode series. Well, it says 11 episodes, but the 11th episode has clearly just been something they've done since.
Sure.
But you get to episode 5 and the story ends.
Okay.
Or rather, the arc ends. The problem is dealt with. And you go into episode 6 and it's like, this is what we're doing now. And I'm like, cool, I can't wait. It's such an interesting concept, having such an all-powerful being stripped down to powerless.
Sweet.
And that happens in the first episode, so it's not a spoiler. We also get a version of Constantine in the show, and I was a bit bummed out when I heard the name, and I was like, oh, this is going to suck, because it's not the actor I like. The actor did a really good job, and I'm like, yeah, that's fucking Constantine, I'll let it slide.
Yeah, sweet.
Rick, you ready for some news?
Yeah, let's go.
Rick, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is out. That's a thing.
Is it? Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? Oh man, I've not been to the cinema in a long time.
I can't imagine this film is going to be good. I'm not invested in it. I'm surprised the fucking thing got made.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It sounded like a meme pick that was not going to get made, and now it's been made. I'll be honest, I'm way more interested in the Megan sequel that's coming out in like 2 years than I am in Five Nights at Freddy's.
The what sequel?
Megan, the killer robot doll lady.
I've not heard of this.
Oh, okay. So it was like February last year or something that it came out, and it was actually a lot more fun than I was expecting it to be. I think one of our mutual friends watched it as well, but yeah, it was a fun movie about a killer doll robot who was slightly creepy, tangentially related to the FNAF creatures in that they're also essentially scaled up Furbies, but taken in a different direction.
It's one of those where I feel like you might be setting yourself up for disappointment, because I remember the reboot animated movie of the Addams Family being surprisingly good, but that's because I had no expectations, and the second film, because I had the expectations of the first film, was just shit.
Yeah, maybe so.
I think my favourite thing about this movie coming out is I saw a post on 4chan where someone said, I swear to fucking God, if the line, guys, you don't understand, they were actually protecting us, is said in this film, I'm done.
Yeah. Oh man. Because I think that is actually just like a plot point, isn't it? They just think that that's what what they're doing is correct. That's like part of their programming.
Well, yes, okay, listen, we're not a Five Nights at Freddy's podcast. We don't know what the fuck we're talking about. However, the game series is up to like 6, I think, and the lore crafters
Minimum.
who have thousands of views because people, for some reason, give a fuck about this game. Because I guess it's the Dark Souls reasoning of, oh, we don't know anything, we have to piece it together ourselves, which I'm using the Dark Souls thing as a loose allegory because I don't think the two are even remotely comparable, because it's quite clearly the guy is just coming up with... He's purposefully obscuring information because he hasn't decided yet. Anyway, I'm getting off track.
Yeah, comparing it to Dark Souls is charitable in terms of the lore characterization.
Yeah, the first game establishes, because I actually saw some people play that, because the guy on the tape recorder goes, basically, when one of the animatronics sees you, they think that you are also an animatronic, and they think you are out of your suit, so they stuff you back inside your suit, and that obviously kills you because you're made of meat.
Yes, and that's why it works to have a Freddy head in the second game.
Sure.
But yes, I'll be interested to see if this is A, passable, and B, becomes one of the cult classics of the Zoomer generation.
I think it's going to get some decent numbers just based on the fact that it's come out a week before Halloween.
Oh yeah, it's the spooky thing that came out of Halloween. That it's going to get numbers. Like I remember the very first Saw, the only Saw that I've seen, came out around Halloween.
Yeah, and that film's not even particularly horror-y.
No, it's just you have a bit of psychological stuff, and it just is a gory movie. I'd say things like Silence of the Lambs is not even that much of a horror movie. Like the dark side of it is, oh man, is this person going to survive? And well, a lot of them do.
Rick, there was mutilated corpses frequently in that film.
Okay, but like it's not one killer hunting down multiple people, and you get to see them murder them multiple times.
But what you're describing as a slasher.
Yes.
That's different to horror.
Okay.
I mean, it's a subgenre of horror, but horror is a bit more sophisticated, shall we say. I'm not going to get into this debate on the podcast because there is nuance there, which I myself am not well equipped enough to speak, and you are a self-confessed not a fan of horror.
Sure.
We're not authorities, so we're not talking about it. Rick, Nintendo's brought out a Smash Bros. Community guideline, and it's bollocks.
Have they? Okay, what are they saying?
Community tournament guidelines, and there's a lot of things in here, but I'll address the main ones. Basically, you're not allowed to use any Nintendo imagery to promote your community tournament. You're allowed to use clips from video games that you yourself have captured during video highlight reels. That's about the only thing they're giving you. Also, by the way, you can't charge more than $20 per head per entry. Also, it has to be non-for-profit, so all the money that you raise has to be used to make the event itself and used in prize pools. By the way, if you're charging spectators, you can't use the money you gained from the spectators to put into the prize pool. So basically, do you want a fighting game tournament? Well, fuck you.
Yeah, man. You can't put the spectator money into the prize pool, and you have to essentially use the spectator money for running the event only. Oh boy.
That's the bit that I'm narrowing on. This is a big old fucking document, and there's a lot of things there that people aren't happy about. But the prize pool thing is the weirdest thing to me because...
Yeah, that would normally be the way. Like, if they're saying the organisers can't take an 80% skim off the top, that would be kind of a fine thing to say, because it means that it would be more accessible to more people. But chucking the money that you're not allowed to keep into the prize pool sounds like the correct thing to do in that situation, and them saying that you can't is just... It's fucking silly.
Yeah, so you're not allowed to make money off this. Also, the people partaking in your tournament aren't allowed to make a lot of money. I think they've also stipulated... I haven't got the number right in front of me, and I'm not scouring through the fucking document to find it, but I think the maximum amount of money you can have in the prize pool is $5,000, which sounds like a lot if you're a layman. However, if you've watched people go to and compete in fighting game tournaments, that is fuck all.
You could spend that on a plane ticket to get there, and the people that go to these things quite often do have to fly.
Or it's meant to be a local community tournament, so that's the idea, you see, so people shouldn't be flying in for it.
I mean, yeah, but a lot of the time you have like people who are essentially fighting game rock stars who will just do a circuit.
But also Smash game players are fiends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing, when these community guidelines came out, I thought they were going to be protections for minors, because the fact that more than one person on the Smash game circuit has been done for being a bit of a nonce is concerning.
Yes, oh boy.
But anyway, it's a weird decision. Speaking of weird decisions, Google/YouTube is rolling out some pretty fucking aggressive anti-ad stuff.
Oh, yes. If your browser runs on Chromium, you now basically can't use AdBlock for the time being.
It's interesting because some people have been experiencing it on other browsers as well. Firefox is so far unaffected, but it's only a matter of time. The screenshot I've been shown was basically one of the mini YouTube pop-ups that says video player will be blocked after 2 videos unless you disable your ad blocker.
And apparently, because it knows you're signed in and basically won't play fuck all without being signed in, it ties it to your account rather than your IP or browser.
Weird.
It's going to be pushing a lot of people to Firefox in the short term, and then in the long term, there's going to be a way to, arms race against it. But right now, they are currently winning the arms race.
Well, they are and they aren't. Again, uBlock Origin, even on Chrome, is doing fairly well. It's not working 100%, obviously, because some people are getting this, and you know what? uBlock Origin has been pretty competent in the arms race regards.
Yeah.
That being said, the immediate fix is, as you say, probably get off of Google-based browsers.
Yeah.
But yes, Rick, what are we doing today?
Today we are watching something that I have watched very little of. We're now doing Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's Season 1, Episode 1, A Night at the Cat's Motel, and B-side being Cajun Granny Stew. 3, 2, 1, and go.
Yeah, I remember watching a lot of Courage the Cowardly Dog was kind of great in that it got the, 9 o'clock time slot. 9 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
So it was spooky hours anyway for Kid Me. And there was some real fucking creepy episodes of this.
Yeah. I've seen the one where they go to a diner. And it's the idea is to make it look like they're eating human meat.
I think that might be the B-side to this one.
Oh, fair enough.
Or either that, or they've done that premise more than once.
Sure.
I like that the slightly jank animation works in the favour for this sort of storytelling.
Yeah. Like the 2-frame teeth chattering. It just helps.
Yeah. It really, even as a kid, it used to unsettle me that Courage has just got a massive hole in one of his teeth.
Yeah, exactly. That's that would be something that I would have just not liked as a kid. Okay, so literally Satan.
No, he's a cat, can't you see? I believe they're calling it Cat's Motel. I think it's meant to be, now that I'm older and can understand references, I think it's meant to be a play on the Bates Motel.
Sure, okay. So is it Eustace and Mabel, is it?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, Eustace is a dick.
Yep, yeah, he is. At least he gets a little bit of comeuppance.
But the fact you're at a motel means it's going to be for at least a night.
Now, here's the thing. I didn't know that he actually spoke when he was on his own.
Oh, yeah, no, he's a talking dog.
Yeah, I've only ever seen clips of it when it's when he's alongside the humans and he's just making fear noises.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, that's
Muriel,
fun.
not Mabel, sorry. Man, I was about to say bed bugs, but it's bigger than bed bugs.
Maybe this was a formative experience as to why I don't like spiders.
Man, it's a big motel room.
Yeah, like that right there I think is a Psycho joke. Or Psycho reference.
Yeah. Although, if you ask me, then it's a then it's something that Mr. Burns does. When they're spying on Homer and Marge when Bart gets hit by a car.
Oh, okay.
And, also a Scooby-Doo thing that happens all the damn time.
Yeah.
Man, Courage has got it rough. He can't even run away from where he is.
No. I like how they've made the mandibles look slightly like a moustache.
Yeah. It's cute. Oh.
Oh, we do have big cartoon logic in this cartoon, by the way. I do like the... Oh, wow, that was super not as threatening when you actually see what it was doing.
The radioactive one.
I wouldn't be able to fucking sleep again if that happened in real life.
Yeah, it came out the tap.
Muriel, how are you not seeing this?
I think she is like super blind. That's 666.5. Okay, so even when he's talking, it's it is just Muriel screaming. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought it was overlaying a howling to show that it was him also howling in the real world, as essentially outside of his head.
I got you. Eustace is fucking useless, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He just exists to be a dick to Courage.
He just farted in his sleep and that was it.
What is it? I think one of my favourite dog lines from a cartoon is from Archer, where one character just goes, "Are you going to roll over and die like a dog, or are you going to stand up and fight like a better dog?"
Like a better dog. Cobras, dinosaurs, and other dinosaurs. Dragons. Your problems would be solved if you just let him get eaten.
Yeah, but then Muriel would be sad, and Courage likes Muriel.
Yeah. Also, I don't think Muriel can drive.
Well, maybe not.
This is from that like weird era in which men can drive and the wives cannot.
This isn't that old.
Okay, but old people in this generation.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay.
Were codified like that. Like granddads could drive and grandmas could not.
Okay. I like how he made no attempt to dodge that. Oh, we know where this joke's going. I didn't know where this joke was going. I thought we were going to see more eyes appear and then, Alright, it shouldn't bug me, but it's bugging me how the hole in his tooth is not consistent.
Yeah, it just changes sides all the time, yeah. Just to make his mouth look even more gross.
Fuck me, this is still going on, this epic fight.
And it's still going for a face when, her arm is right there.
I do like how this villain has yet to shout.
Yep. Oh, they're playing slap badminton.
I believe it's racquetball, not badminton.
Okay, I've not heard of racquetball. All I've seen is like regular badminton, and they're just playing it with slaps.
Yeah, but badminton isn't that. Badminton is basically tennis with a shuttlecock. Not tennis.
Oh, yeah,
tennis.
yeah,
Tennis.
yeah.
I did get the right word. Yeah, a shuttlecock's the only real difference, and obviously you sort of bat it upwards as opposed to slamming it down like tennis.
Yeah.
Listen to this Mortal Kombat-esque music. Like, for real, it's like 2 beats off of Mortal Kombat theme.
Yeah. Mortal Courage.
That's a fucking video game title right there.
It sounds like the name of one of those, like, early 2000s MMOs.
I guess. Pow, right in the kisser.
Hmm.
Yep, that's not unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely meant to be a fucking Bates reference.
Yep.
I'm going to treat this spider like a face hugger. Man, take too long gloating and that's how you lose. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's like failing a QuickTime event and getting it solved for you because the game is meant to continue either way.
Yeah.
Oh, she can drive.
I'm pretty sure she was driving when they got in.
Yep, fair enough.
So yeah. That's the very first fucking introduction to Courage kids got.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Steven Universe and modern cartoons when they have 10-minute time slots, well, kind of like Amphibia did this as well, in that they have 2 episodes per episode, but they were actual episodes.
Yeah, like actual episodes and not just continuations. Like Amphibia evolved into continuations, you know what I mean?
Well,
but
again,
early on,
no,
it was
you're missing my point. I'm comparing Steven Universe being 10-minute episodes to Amphibia being 20-minute episodes, but each episode is 2 episodes.
Sure.
That's all I'm talking about. I didn't mean to compare storytelling methods. I don't like the design of this fox.
He's not that far removed from the cat, though, is he?
I meant the eyes, bro.
Well, I mean, he's a triangle-headed fella. It's just his eyes are big and bulgy rather than being little and menacing.
Just take a fucking trip down Scunthorpe, you'll see people like that.
Yeah. Just orcs on the street corner.
This is a weird fucking image.
It is a bit, yeah. Oh, she's already asleep yet.
Yeah, she's old.
Yeah.
Well, that was really easy, wasn't it?
Apparently.
Oh, the hand's up the arse.
Yeah, he's getting fisted by a fountain.
Oh, okay, that's a sentence.
Oh, it's going all the way through. All the way through his entire digestive tract and out his mouth.
It also doesn't make any sense, because water wasn't coming from there.
No. Oh, he's a fox, not a squirrel.
Why the fuck did you think it was a squirrel?
Like, early on I thought it was a squirrel, and yeah, he's obviously a fox.
Like, I assume he's meant to be Cajun because that's in the episode title. However, he does sound a bit more like Foghorn Leghorn.
He does a bit.
How light is Courage?
Yeah, if, like that balloon wouldn't even hold up the goggles. Cartoon bomb.
Some fucking Acme Coyote shit. Oh, that's a fucking... Why did it affect just his head and tail, and no other part of his body was afflicted?
Like, not even his hand.
Ah.
That was holding the bomb.
Cartoon logic.
Did he get snatched up without being snatched?
Don't know what you mean.
Like, I think he got snatched up before the fox even went past Courage.
Maybe. I didn't know this. That was a very triangular spade. Like, what kind of fucking idiot would do... it's a cartoon, but seriously. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. Who would hide behind that?
Wait, did they close off the wrong road before?
Apparently.
They definitely said arse. They did not censor that good enough. Why wouldn't you think that was a dream, wouldn't it?
Yeah, let's be honest.
You... Just assume everything that happens here is supernatural, and that's why Muriel's not dead, and that's why Courage is a pancake.
Yeah, and then, like, I think the idea is that none of it's actually happening. It's all through the eyes of a neurotic dog.
Yeah.
I think this is the first part where Courage has been speaking that actually adds to the plot.
Yeah.
Because before this, like, he could have spent the entire time essentially 100% non-verbal.
Yeah. It's one of those where I don't think kids from the generation where this was aimed at could have appreciated silent cartoons.
Sure.
What the fuck's the police gonna do about a fox? The fox is gonna be the policeman. Yeah.
Yep. The car show him getting hit. They can only imply it.
They showed Muriel in the previous episode doing an epic showdown with a fucking spider.
Yeah, tossing him in the toilet. And flushing him down with a toe.
So am I, my dear boy. I love how whenever not Muriel or Eustace speaks, they are almost exclusively speaking to us watching.
Yep. Yep.
I've seen fat little dogs do that in real life, and it's quite funny.
What, just try and bury their heads in what's essentially the sand?
Not even that, is it just trying to get into a place they can't, and then they're kind of like, their back legs are slightly off the ground, and they just sort of flail. It's so funny.
Yep.
I do kind of like how he doesn't argue or fight about it. Just like, no, I'm gonna kill this woman and eat her.
Oh, she's got magnet boots. Okay.
Don't think about it too hard, bud. That's one of the things with this show is it's basically the closest thing we have to Looney Tunes in that don't think about it too hard. Just enjoy it.
Photorealistic grass.
Someone has just taken a PNG, haven't they?
Yeah. It's just the Windows background.
I was just about to say that. His ears are not that big.
Nope.
That is not an actual Scottish person doing that voice, surely.
It can't be. Little shit! Like, okay, he's trying to kill Muriel, and that's what made me say little shit.
I know it's a cartoon, but why are you cooking the cloves?
Oh, yeah, because he's going to deep fry her, I think.
But still, why would you cook the cloves? I don't think that's deep frying if it's going in a gumbo.
Yeah, usually not. Like, I knew it was, like, he said stew, like, multiple times, but, like, when you put something in flour, normally that means that deep frying is next.
Sure. Visual proof that she would not fit in the pot.
No.
Is that a real dish, and is that the entire pun of the episode?
I guess so.
Cajun food is super spicy.
Yeah.
John L. Dilworth did that say. Sorry, I don't mean to take the piss out of your name, but that's a fucking name.
Probably where they got into comedy.
Maybe. Fucking Dilworth. Oh, there it was again.
Yeah, he's high up there because he's had an assistant and everything.
It's a good name. It's a funny name, but you know, it's not a name you expect. So when you hear it for the first time, you're a bit like yuk, like you're goofy.
Yeah, it's real easy to do a Goofy, by the way.
But yeah, that's the end of the episode, Rick. What did you think?
It was alright. It's not my favourite Cartoon Network show, but it's better than some, not as good as others. How about you? What do you reckon?
I think there are better Courage the Cowardly Dog episodes than this. But,
sure.
You know, I don't... Like, we're doing a one-off episode for the podcast. It makes the most sense to just do the first one ever. And it was this one. I think the first one was a bit more spooky. The second one was just zany Looney Tunes hijinks. I think I prefer the first one because it felt more like Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Sure. Also, it had Eustace. So that's always a benefit.
You weren't too high on it then?
Again, it's not my favourite Cartoon Network show.
But that said, we need to wind up today. Rick, do you have a favourite moment?
I think it was actually the bit where I just went little shit towards the end, where the fox just knocked Courage off, because that was the one that just stood out to me as needlessly mean, on top of the fact that he was literally trying to eat the nicest character on the show.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, how about you? What was your favourite moment?
My favourite moment was the epic showdown in the bathtub between Muriel and the Spider of Death.
You could tell it was epic because it stretched stretched out over like 3 scenes.
Yeah, it felt like it took forever.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. That was going to be my second pick as well.
But we can't only talk about the good, can we? We also have to talk about the bad. So with that in mind, Rick, do you have a weakest link for me?
I think the weakest link is actually something I talked about during the show, that Courage didn't need to be voiced. Like, yes, give him his Morty sounds, the, oh, Rick, oh. But he doesn't have to speak. Like, what he says doesn't add to the episodes.
It didn't add to this episode, but let me tell you what, if this character didn't speak and just made the oh noises throughout the series, it would fucking suck.
Sure. I guess it's early episode blues that gives me that impression of the character then, and the characterization, because it feels like most of the human speech kind of should come from the human characters, even though we've got the anthro characters that can also speak, who are obviously in positions of power to a degree. But yeah, how about you? What was your weakest link?
I don't know if it was a purposeful decision, so therefore it's going on the weakest link, and that is the animation at times was rather inconsistent, and yes, I'm still thinking about that fucking hole in the tooth.
Even the time that you first said it, about it being the hole in the tooth being inconsistent, was followed up by a very off-model picture of Courage. Yes, he deforms as the plot demands, but this was just it looked like bad animation for that individual shot. Yeah, sometimes it's there to be funny, but sometimes it appears to be just bad.
I feel like they weren't quite as strict back in the day when it came to consistency.
The B-side of it is that it makes it obvious that it was done by people rather than, just computer animation.
I'm really umming and ahhing over or not it was a purposeful decision, because I know in later episodes they have really purposefully shit 3D CGI characters, because it's really creepy looking against the backdrop of the regular Courage cast. So again, it might just be a purposeful decision and I just don't get it, and that's fine.
Sure.
We have to round up the way we always round up. Rick, do you have an MVP?
I'm going to give it to Muriel. She is the shining light of Courage's life, and basically the only reason that he can live up to his name on occasion is that he's doing it for her. She's the Maggie Simpson mural of the entire show.
I knew you were going to make a reference to Maggie Simpson. As soon as you said do it for her, I'm like...
Yeah, so yeah, I'm giving it to Muriel, because who doesn't want to root for the Nan? But yeah, how about you? Who's your MVP?
I'm going to give it to Courage.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the focal point of every episode. It's very weird because the episodes are very formulaic. Courage discovers problem. Eustace does not believe problem is problem. Muriel is now the stakes.
Yes.
And that's pretty much the formula for every episode. And it's a good formula. It works.
Yeah, they made a lot of these.
At least 4 seasons worth, I think.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe one day we'll come back to Courage and watch one of the more popular episodes. But the first 2 episodes, not the highest on either of our lists, really.
Yeah, but it's a shame because, as you say, it does have better episodes in the future, but oh well.
So yeah, if you guys like the episode or want to give us suggestions for future content, we do have the comment section down below on YouTube. If you're not watching via YouTube but instead listening via one of our many audio platforms, you can instead send us an email at
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that is nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
Yes. And with that, the month of spooks is over. Let the month of who the fuck knows begin. See you next week, guys.
Bye.